right now.
Okay.
I need to check with her if we could start and if we are already on live. So
I think we're good.
And I have here a little voice with me. It's the life of being it's motherhood phase, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. Okay, Mama. Okay. And we are waiting for her to give us the signal so we could start.
Oh, I thought she already gave us the signal. I thought she said we were okay to start. I think we can begin.
Usually it needs to be green, so we know that we are on. For now, it's not.
Okay.
And if I get on Facebook page, we don't see us, you see.
Okay.
So. Okay, go ahead, we go. All right, well, hello everyone, and welcome to our IMA episode. Today we will be discussing an important topic, which is related to all educators and even children. It's about going back to school and how to better prepare ourselves as educators and as parents to help, of course, our children and to support them for this path. Here I have Mr. Jonathan, who is with me, and we are going to share together and to discuss throughout his humble experience as an adolescent, let's say, educator, then as a child, an educator for 3 to 6 kids, and then having a 14 to 15 years into education, and then being as an international, we can say, trainer and consultant. I hope we will be benefiting more from his humble, let's say, advice and his feedback and suggestions on how to start the school year. So welcome and happy to see you.
Thank you, Salma. Good to be here. Hello, everyone.
Hello. So we are going to go ahead for our session and to discuss in depth about how to set the tone for the Montessori school year. And I would like to know from your perspective, what does it mean to set the tone for a Montessori school year? From a perspective of an educator, what does it mean to set the tone of the school year?
Well, to me, there are 3 different aspects or levels of setting the tone. The most obvious one, or the most concrete one, of course, is preparing the educational environment, whether it's a classroom environment, what we call the prepared environment of the classroom, with the proper materials and the setup of the classroom so it is beautiful and orderly and age appropriate for the children being shared. There are 2 other levels that Montessori spoke about. She spoke about the. Should I wait for a moment? Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna make sure people can hear me.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. There is also the level of what Maria Montessori called the spiritual preparation of the adult, the preparing our hearts and minds, our thoughts, our feelings. So we are 100% present with children and 100% positive with children, that we are bringing the very best of our consciousness and character to the children, what Maria Montessori called the spiritual preparation of the adult. And then there's another layer, which is different than the materials in the classroom, the prepared environment, and different from the inner work of the adult. And that is what we call with children grace and courtesy. Is we need to prepare our relations and communications, not only with children. Do I have a positive attitude about all the children in my classroom, but do I also have a good working relationship with my co-teacher or assistant teacher, the other teachers in the program? Do I have a good relationship with the director, the administrator or administrators? And do I have a good working relationship with parents? So if I were to put these in sequence of importance or priority of importance, Montessori said in one of her quotes is the spiritual preparation of the adult is the most important part of training. And if you're not doing the work on yourself to be a happy, healthy, positive human being, then all the rest of the training means nothing. So let me take a moment to discuss what my view of the spiritual preparation of the adult in preparing for the school year.
Exactly. Yeah. Because just to comment on what you just shared, many would think Montessori is only about knowing how to present the materials, how to set the environment, how to make it the most beautiful environment ever, how to really be organized in your way of presenting and giving the presentations. But honestly, from my humble experience into Montessori education as a 6 to 12 Montessori educator, you can get your diploma because you presented very well the presentation given during your exam. But they cannot really check your spiritual preparation. And how do I get to be prepared spiritually? And when we say spiritual preparation, of course, we are not talking religiously. We are talking about the spirit of mind and spirit that you should have as an educator. So from that point, how could I prepare as an educator myself spiritually? And what is the spiritual preparation that all adults should have to start the year and to get a good tone for the school?
That's a wonderful question, Salma. I think the spiritual preparation is a matter of first asking ourselves some very important questions, such as, do I feel at peace? Do I feel peaceful in my being? Or am I emotionally disturbed in some way? Am I anxious? Am I sad? Am I angry about something? Montessori is about peace education, not only world peace, but inner peace. So the first question for me that comes to my mind in terms of preparing myself to be spiritually prepared for the children is, do I feel calm and peaceful? The next question is, do I feel happy? Am I enjoying my life? Children of all ages need to be around parents and teachers who feel happy. They not only are peaceful, but they love their life. And then thirdly is, are there certain habits of thought that are holding me back from being completely present with children? If I am having some negative thoughts or anxieties or anger about myself or about other people in my life, then I am not 100% present with the children. So to me, the three aspects that I just mentioned, do I feel peaceful and calm? Do I feel happy in my life? And do I have thoughts that allow me to be, are my thoughts quiet enough to be 100% present with the children? And in looking at myself, if I'm not feeling peaceful, or I'm not feeling happy, or my thoughts are restless and not quiet and calm, then part of my spiritual preparation is I have to take a look at what is going on inside my heart, in my mind, in my life, that is causing me not to be a peaceful, happy, completely human present person. So there's some reflection or introspection that needs to happen there.
So we can recommend that if you are a Montessori educator and you would love to embark on a Montessori journey, maybe the first thing you will need to work on is your self-reflection. And you need to really get into this deep reflection and get within yourself to understand exactly, is this path what you want? Is this path makes you happy? Is being in the class brings you peace and happiness? If the answer to these questions, yes, then definitely you are prepared and you can go ahead. And what if like the answer is no, but I still want to be with with the children, and when I'm with the children, I forget about my sadness, my inner, let's say, issues, and I just focus with these children because they bring me happiness. What about this perspective that some educators would endorse?
Well, I know many Montessori educators. All of us are human beings who have different problems in life, whether it's physical problems with our bodies, or mental problems, or relationship problems, or money problems, or whatever. And it is the job of the Montessori educator, when they come to the door of their classroom before they enter the prepared environment, to take all those problems and leave them at the door of their classroom and put on the face and the heart of happiness. But I think there's a couple other parts of this that take some daily work.
Yes.
I have a workshop that I give to Montessori educators around the world and school leaders and parents, called The Four Aspects of the Spiritual Preparation of the Adult. And I will review them very quickly. The first is the belief system. Am I in education? Am I in Montessori education only or solely to serve the children and serve the world? Or is my reason for being in Montessori education also to help myself be a happier, healthier person? The best Montessori teachers I have ever seen are there, of course, to serve every child and serve the family and serve the school and make the planet a more peaceful place. But there's another aspect to these great teachers. They also are willing to turn the mirror around and look at themselves and go, working with children is an opportunity for me to become a happier, healthier, more aware person. So that's one aspect. The other aspect in this workshop, Salma, is if I'm teaching the children grace and courtesy, how to behave in community respectfully and responsibly, whatever I teach the children, am I striving to be a good role model of that? Or do I give grace and courtesy lessons to children, but I myself do not always model that behavior? Just very quick example of that one. And I see this in school after school after school. We teach children, if they have a problem with another classmate, to go to the Montessori peace table and talk it out peacefully and respectfully. And yet many adults in Montessori schools gossip about other people in the school. Well, I don't like Salma because I don't think she's doing a good job. It's like, well, wait a minute. We're teaching children to be direct, compassionate communicators, but now we are holding negative feelings and talking negatively about another person. So that second aspect is what I call, whatever we are teaching the children about social intelligence, what we call grace and courtesy, I have to ask myself, am I walking my talk? Am I being a good role model? The third aspect in these four aspects is, I come to school expecting to do this and this and this, and then there are all sorts of surprises. Materials are breaking. Children are crying. Some parents are upset. I'm having a problem with my assistant teacher communicating. So the third aspect is, can I adapt to the surprises and the different contingencies that happen every day in school with grace and with adaptability, that the universe, that God is showing me, yes, you expected to do this today, Jonathan, but now this is being presented to you, and you have to adapt and learn from this surprise that's happening with grace and with adaptability and with patience. And then,
flexibility too, being flexible.
That would be the word, Salma. And then the fourth aspect that I need to think about is, am I managing my personal energy? When we are teaching children, there are times and days where we are feeling stressed. We are feeling fatigued. We are feeling tired. We are feeling overwhelmed by all the needs of the children in the classroom. Do I give myself permission during the day when I'm with the children to take care of myself? Taking care of myself during a work period could be prayer. It could be deep breathing. It could be meditation. It could be doing some yoga. It could
Mhm.
be taking my favorite piece of Montessori material and working with it, because that is what helps
Exactly.
me calm down. So these four aspects are: why am I a teacher? Serving myself. Am I walking my talk? Am I adaptable or flexible, to use the word you just used? And finally, am I managing my personal energy? And when I notice my energy is imbalanced or
Mhm.
low, I take time, even around the children, to reboot myself, to take care of myself, because it's important that children see adults doing stress management.
Mm. Yes, exactly. And these are the four basics, let's say, and the foundation.
They
Let's
are.
say, if you
They
are
are.
an educator, you should go only on these four foundations to be really adults. And Montessori talked
Exactly.
about the prepared environment, but also the prepared adults. And this is a big chapter that we had, how to prepare yourself as an adult.
Exactly.
Yes, it's a journey.
Well,
We should
well,
tell them
I love your
it's
thinking, because I think we conveniently forget, as Montessori educators, when we use the term the prepared environment. We
exactly.
think it's only about the materials. So I love to ask Montessori educators, are children noticing and feeling our personal energy? Are they affected by an adult in a classroom or a parent at home who is calm, who is happy? Are they
Mm.
also affected by an adult who is restless or anxious or angry? So we need to take care of our own personal energy, because we're also part of the environment. And then the other aspect, which I haven't gotten to yet, is children are watching relationships, not only
Oh, yes,
between the
yes.
teacher or the parent and the child. They're noticing and feeling the relationship between adults. They're watching the teacher talk to the assistant. They're watching the parent talk to the teacher. They're watching the teacher talk to the administrator, the director. The question is, are the children seeing and observing healthy relationships that are positive, or are they seeing relationships that are stressed? So the other aspect, before we even get to the materials, after the inner work, which we just spoke about, is how are my working relationships with not only the children, but with the adults in the school? Do I have positive relationships, and have I built trust with parents?
Mhm.
Do I have a positive relationship with the person, my teaching partner, and with the administrators? And if there are some stresses there, then I also need to address, how do I improve my working relationships to make them healthier and more positive, because that is also affecting children.
Yes, and we could also say that children absorb everything.
They
Of
do.
course,
They do.
they absorb even our energy,
They
and
do.
that's why we said we need to model and be like a model for them, because
Exactly.
what you show them will be also displayed into their attitude in the class.
Yes. So
And
true.
and sometimes when you enter the class and you feel that the class is calm, it's a reflection of the adults and the coordination
It
in that
is.
class.
It is.
Yes.
I have two stories for you about that.
Right.
Um, so I think she's trying to tell you something.
Yes, and I'm trying to distract her.
Okay. So when I first began as a primary teacher, my belief system or reason for being a teacher was to help every child and to make the world a more peaceful place. I didn't think that being with children in a Montessori environment had anything to do with my own spiritual or personal development, my health and
Mm.
happiness, until one day a little girl named Jennifer, who was 4 years old, became my spiritual teacher. So little Jennifer knew me outside of school because I socialized with her family. I was friends with her family. I sometimes played tennis on their tennis court in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
And occasionally, when they were on vacation, I would stay at their house and take care of their house, their plants, and their animals. So this child knew me outside of school. One day I came into my primary, my 3 to 6 children's house classroom, in a very negative mood. I don't know what was bothering me, but I didn't present myself as the happy, loving, peaceful person. I was very, very
Mm.
serious and very sad. And so I was sort of sending that energy to the children. It was kind of like, okay, Salma, I'd like you to go there, and Jennifer, I'd like you to start that exercise. There was no joy or happiness.
Yes.
Halfway through the morning work period, little Jennifer, this 4-year-old, looks at me and goes, "Mr. Jonathan," and she calls me over, and I could tell by the look in her eyes that God was going to speak through this child, and it was not going to be pleasant for me. So I looked at Jennifer. I said, "What can I do for you, Jennifer?" And she looked at me. She said, "You look very sad this morning, Mr. Jonathan. Why don't you lie down and take a nap?"
That's a great exercise we should do sometimes.
Yes, but remember, I was not in the belief system that being a Montessori teacher had anything to do with my normalization, my development, my health, my happiness. I thought it was all about Jennifer and the other children and the materials. So I sort of, like, as we say in English, I sort of blew her off. I went, "Yeah, fine, Jennifer, go back to your work."
Yeah, exactly.
Two minutes later, the same child is pulling on my sleeve. And I go, "Jennifer, what is it now?" She goes, "If you don't become happy and stop this sad behavior, Mr. Jonathan, you're not going to play tennis on my tennis court anymore."
So lovely.
And at that moment, Salma, it was like God went like this on the side of my face and went, "Wake up."
Yes.
This is not only about teaching in Montessori, it's not only about the children and their development, it's about your development. It was a big learning for me that I need to be a good role model of a happy, healthy, humble, open human being, a lifelong learner. And if I'm not feeling that way, then I need to do the work on myself, in addition to serving the children. So,
and that's why we say it's a journey. It doesn't happen in just one day.
Exactly.
It takes years, it takes efforts, and nothing happens in a twinkle of an eye. I cannot put a smile now, but I can work on making it, and I can work on being this new person to serve the community, to be flexible, as you said, to adapt to the children's need, and to build new habits.
Well, you said something very profound there. It may take a while for me to learn to be a happier, healthy person, but as important as that, Salma, I see many, many, many Montessori teachers when they're having a difficult day with the children, where they're feeling overwhelmed, or they're feeling anxious, or they're feeling...
I'm coming, Mama, I'm coming. Yeah. Yes.
Or they're feeling frustrated. These teachers...
It happens.
These teachers frustrated, right?
Yes. Papa, I'm on the phone and I finish and I get back to you. All right? I'm here with you. You can play with this. Look, I can give you that. You can play with it. You like drawing? What do we have? Yes, here I am.
So I see an awful lot of teachers, Salma, who do not give themselves permission during the teaching day when they're with the children to take a moment to relax and re-energize themselves. They think they always need to be giving lessons. It's like, no, you don't always need to be giving lessons. If you need to take a moment to center yourself, that's equally important.
Yeah. This is also important because sometimes we forget while we are teaching, and this is really hard sometimes to bring this energy that the children need sometimes.
Yes. Exactly.
And to go deeper into our reflection, you mentioned about the adults and the communication, and in this case, how can I endorse a good communication with adults, with my assistant, with my co-leader, and what are the strategies I could use to build a good communication and to really set a great tone to start the year with them?
Exactly. One of the things that I would like to see us do a better job in the Montessori world in teacher training is we spend a lot of time helping teachers in training the adult learner get to understand this age child and the prepared environment that serves that age child. But we do not spend enough time with teachers in training talking about taking care of themselves, taking care of their adult relationships. And in my consulting work, I would say 50 or 60% of my work with schools has nothing to do with children or the prepared environment. It's getting the adults to feel happier and more connected with the other adults.
Yes. And if let's say, take it from a perspective of being a director of a school, and I had really these educators, they really are great into giving presentations, into really making the children involved. When I enter the class is functional, everyone is into work, but there is a big issue to coordinate with each other and to find a peaceful way to communicate.
I love your thinking.
Yeah, and how can I bring peace to these two educators and make them really enjoy themselves enjoy working together in an environment and bringing that peace within themselves so they can really be reflected in the attitude of the work?
It's a very, very important question. One of the discussions that I have been encouraging the teachers and the administrators of schools to have early every year is to develop a set of grace and courtesy agreements for the adults. How are we going to communicate as teachers, as administrators, and parents? As you know, at the beginning of every school year, we help the children set the ground rules or the agreements of behavior in the classroom. But we don't do that with the adults. And I think schools need to develop a set of grace and courtesy agreements for the adults.
Yes. And this is something that we all need to work on as directors, is to bring these adults together and to bring the community, because adults, parents are part of the community that we work on.
No, that's so well said.
And it could be hard even for directors to think about, how could I build, as you said, a grace and courtesy contract with these educators?
Yes.
What should I put inside? What are the key points I should highlight? Should I make a class code of conduct like I do with...
Actually, Salma, I don't think that should come from the director. The director facilitates the discussion with the teachers and the other administrators in the school. It should be a shared discussion. How do we want to communicate with one another as adults, teachers, parents, administrators? That should come from the professional staff. How do we want to communicate, to be positive, to trust each other, to when we have a difference of opinion, how we talk that out in a respectful way? If it comes from the administrator, the teachers will not own it or use it. But if during a professional development day, like a workshop or an in-service, the leader of the school, the administrator, the director says, let's have a discussion about how we want to relate to one another and communicate. If the teachers, the professional staff develops those agreements, then they will actually live by them because it came from them and not from the director.
Yeah. It's the same way we do with the children when we do the class code of conduct. It comes from the children because we're working in an environment that we make them feel it's like a family. So, and the same perspective has to be with educators between each other.
Yes,
and my question here comes about the time for coordination. We talk about educators being efficient in the class to teach, but maybe we also need to highlight the point for directors to find a great time to meet and to allow the educators to coordinate.
You've pressed one of my Montessori hot buttons in a very good way, and I thank you for it. We use this term of the long uninterrupted work period for children, of 2 to 3 hours of uninterrupted work. But in many Montessori schools, we do not give the teachers enough uninterrupted work time without the children, where they have preparation time, training time with their assistant, professional development time, time to work on their environment, time to plan their lessons. Montessori is it's focused on materials, so materials need to be prepared. It's an individualized learning process. In other words, we look at each child's needs. We try to communicate with parents, and we try to coordinate with our teaching partners so we're on the same page. None of that happens when children are present. Teachers need more what we call in the United States prep time, preparation time, or release time. I'll say something that probably will rock the boat a little bit with some people for if there are directors, listening to this program. The best Montessori schools in the world give teachers more and more and more release time. There are schools that every single weekday, one day a week,
Yes.
the children actually go to daycare or they go home. They're picked up by their parents, and the entire afternoon, like a Friday afternoon, is for teacher development and teacher meeting and team meeting and preparation. It's like, and I know many administrators say, we cannot do that to working parents. They will go crazy.
Yes.
There is there is, just so you know, there is no research in different cultures and different socioeconomic levels that if you let parents know next school year, once a month, we are going to take an afternoon just for teacher development to prepare lessons for your children, which will improve your children's quality of learning. The parents will not be happy about that. But if it's a good Montessori program, they will not leave the school because you've let them know the reason that the teachers are having this time off without their children, and that this will improve their children's learning experience. You will not lose any enrollment. It's something that administrators have this paranoia in their head. We can't take an afternoon off because working parents will go crazy. That is not true.
Absolutely.
That is not true.
And also to convince some educators too, because in our training, we were talking about 3 interrupted period of work for the morning cycle.
Exactly.
And the same 3 interrupted period of work for the afternoon cycle.
Right.
And so if I do that, when would I have the time for the coordination? You see?
It's so interesting that you say that. I work with schools all over the world, and the message I get from so many teachers in Montessori schools is, we love the children. We love Montessori. We love the school. We do not have enough time to work on our environment, to think about the lessons for the children, and to train our assistant teachers or to communicate with parents. Montessori teachers classically complain about, we don't have enough time to be adequately prepared. So what's happening is you have a lot of stressed out teachers or burned out teachers who are really tired because they do not have enough planning and preparation time. And we really need to look at that as Montessori directors.
Absolutely. And it requires a lot of really work and communication too. And among the key points of setting the tone of the school year is to set a clear strategies of communication. And here comes my question about what are the different techniques of communications I should endorse to really help parents understand my philosophy about Montessori, because Montessori is not about material, it's a philosophy of life.
Exactly. Well,
how could I bring these children into that? And how could I bring the parents as well to think with me like we are learning to build a new way of life and a philosophy for a word of peace, as Maria Montessori claims for?
Well, I mean, you've raised a very, very important question, Salma, which is the idea if we don't educate parents over the course of the year, whether it's once a month or once every other month, and do a workshop for parents on this is the Montessori philosophy, and this is what you can do at home to support your child's learning, then the children live in 2 worlds, the world of the Montessori classroom and the world of the family. And that is very difficult for children, especially the youngest children who are in that sensitive period for order. So to support the children and to support the family, the parents, the best schools do some routine parent education workshops, whether it's once a quarter, once every other month, once a month, to educate the parents. This is how we view child development in Montessori. And this will make your job easier as a parent when you understand how children learn, and we would like to support you in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You may think of really giving parental workshops. Also, why not
Exactly.
encouraging them to attend webinars? And sometimes in some schools, we may find a small library for parents to pick up a book about
Exactly.
Maria Montessori and
Exactly.
read it. And then you come out to a book club. You can create a book club and reflect
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
You can involve parents into the going out. And this is something we do in the 6 to 12. We do a lot of going out because as it's unlike the 3 to 6, the dual environment in the 6 to 12
Right.
is very important. And the child
Yes.
needs to be exposed to the outside environment. So we
Yes.
take the child outside and parents could participate into that. So we could
Absolutely.
bring them to understand that we are not here to really give them presentations and show the beauty of material we have, but we are here to build a community, to set the tone, to conclude
Exactly.
not for the school year, but to set the tone for the entire life and to
Exactly.
work together on this path.
You know, you said a very interesting word early in that presentation, thank you, which was the idea of a webinar. I can't speak for other countries and other cultures, but here in the United States, the era or the age of having working parents come to in-person live workshops in the school, it's over. There will always be a few who will come in person to a workshop on the school in the school site. But using modern technology, webinars, Zoom, whatever you like, this platform here,
Like
live
our
stream,
session now.
like our
Yes.
session now. So many schools are doing a dual, it's an in-person workshop for the parents, but that same workshop is being live streamed to parents who cannot come to the school. So we need to use technology to bring Montessori information, internet technology, to the parents who are not going to come to the school in the evening for a workshop. It's not going to happen anymore. So we need to utilize technology to bring this information about Montessori to them.
Absolutely. And maybe we can really conclude and about three different perspectives, what you could give to the parents, to the educators, to the directors,
Yes.
to better start a school year and to set a clear tone for the school year. So let's start to educators. What could we tell them?
Well, actually, I think it's the same for all three, and it's where we began this discussion, Salma, which is as a parent, as a school leader, an administrator, or as a teacher, am I a good living example of a normalized human being? Do children see me as peaceful, happy, good fitness and health habits, good relationships? We tend to think about it's the prepared environment, the lessons we're giving the children. The first thing is children are learning more from our daily habits as adults. So whether you're a parent, a teacher, or an administrator, whatever we have as our outcomes for children, like I want the children to develop these kinds of qualities of character and these kinds of thinking skills and these kinds of study skills and concentration skills and physical self-care, we first need to ask ourselves, am I striving to be a good role model of those life skills? And then the second question is, we want children to have good social relationships, healthy relationships. Are children seeing healthy relationships among the adults? Yes. After we pass those two questions, then we can get on to how do we teach children the academic work, the math, the language, the reading. That's important at home and at school. But I think those first two are actually more important because as you know, when a human being is happy and healthy and has positive relationships, their mind is open to learning anything.
Yes. And imagine like someone is giving you a new concept and he's really sad or not showing a smile. You wouldn't really look at his face and you would love that you finish as soon as possible. And this is what could happen sometimes during presentations. You may find some kids like leaving the table. They are not interested that much, not because of the material.
It's about the energy. You know, you said something.
But because I think
exactly.
Not smart.
You know, there's you're breaking up a little bit, by the way, Salma. There is brain research to support neurological research to support what you just said. If the neurological or neuroscientists say that most of the learning, you know, is in the frontal lobes, the big brain, and then there is underneath that there's the limbic system or the emotional brain with the amygdala. If children are seeing a sad human being, an adult, or an angry adult, or an adult who is sad, so, you know, anxious, angry, or sad, they are activating the child's limbic system, emotional system. They're not activating the child's frontal lobes in their brain. If, on the other hand, the presentation by the adult is coming from an adult who seems to be peaceful, happy, calm, then it actually awakens the frontal lobes of the child, because the child's emotional brain is not going like this because they're being affected by the negativity of the adult.
A word which I really like, Montessori, which is the process of self-construction. We are all working on, and this is a key word maybe to come with, like the person you are born with may not be the person whom you will end up
yes, exactly.
your life.
It is about self-construction.
We are go through and
exactly. Well, the problem, you know, my issue or challenge with some Montessorians, Salma, is we think that self-construction is only about the child's self-construction and education. We are also needing to construct ourselves as adults. And children need to see adults who are working to be better human beings.
Yes. This is the message we could be following as, which is we are supporting you into your process of self-construction. And throughout our webinars and our workshop and lectures given IMA Association, or many other associations also are working great on spreading Montessori, we claim to be a better person and to work on being a person. And this, of course, a lifelong journey. Of course, we need guidance on. Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. for this. It's really great.
You're welcome. I enjoyed our conversation. It was wonderful.
Me too. I really enjoyed so much. And we wish we meet again for other sessions. And definitely we will be organizing other ones.
I hope so.
I think your workshop also about the 4 aspects of Montessori prepared adult is worth attending. If you are working on it, never hesitate to share with us. We'll be glad to be part of it.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us, and thank you for enjoying our session also. I hope I was clear enough in my questions. And
you were great. You were great. Thank you. It was wonderful to meet you, Salma. Thank you for facilitating the discussion, and I wish you all well. Thank you for your work in Montessori.
Take care. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I just need to